खोल अपने परों को, छोड़ सब सीमा सिरों को। क्यों डरता है आसमान के तूफान से, अभी तो तहलका मचाना है तुम्हें अपनी उड़ान से। A very cheerful and inspiring afternoon to everyone present here. On behalf of UDAAN, the Civil Services Society of Shaheed Bhagat Singh College, University of Delhi, under the aegis of IQAC. We are delighted to welcome you all to our seminar, UPSC Diaries 25, entitled Beginner's Guide for UPSC CSE Preparation, organized in collaboration with Vajiram and Ravi IAS, one of India's leading institution for civil services preparation. We are honored to welcome the esteemed dignitaries who grace this event with their presence and wisdom. Our principal, Professor Arun Kumar Atree, a visionary leader and guiding force of our college, and our guest speaker, Sri Samarjit Mishra Sir, COO, Vajiram and Ravi IAS, whose mentorship has shaped the journey of countless aspirants. I now request our dignitaries to kindly grace the stage.
To officially begin our seminar and to honor our institution's spirit and learning and integrity, may I request everyone to please stand for the Delhi University Kulgeet.
जयति जय जय जयति जय जय ज्ञान का लोक अनुपम
श्रेष्ठ सुंदर दिव्य दिल्ली विश्वविद्यालय विहंगम
जयति जय जय जयति जय जय ज्ञान का लोक अनुपम सकल वसुधा निज कुटुंब की भावना संस्कृति सनातन आधुनिक शिक्षा पुरातन ज्ञान धाराओं का संगम
देश की स्वाधीनता हित भूमिका शतकोटि वंदन
निष्ठा धृति सत्यम के मंगल दिव्य भावों का समागम
जयति जय जय जयति जय जय ज्ञान का आलोक अनुपम
भव्य महाविद्यालयों के परिसरों से चिर सुशोभित श्रेष्ठ गुरुजन कर रहे नित्य छात्र और छात्राएं दीक्षित
सदचरित्राचार पावन साधना संकल्प संयम
नवल वैश्विक चेतना नव क्रांति संस्कारों का उद्गम जयति जय जय जयति जय जय ज्ञान का लोक अनुपम
श्रेष्ठ सुंदर दिव्य दिल्ली विश्वविद्यालय विहंगम
जयति जय जय जयति जय जय ज्ञान का लोक अनुपम
ज्ञान का आलोक अनुपम
ज्ञान का लोक अनुपम
ज्ञान का आलोक अनुपम
We are also proud to be associated with the Vajiram and Ravi IAS, one of India's most respected institutions for civil services preparation. For decades, they have guided aspirants with right knowledge, strategy, and determination, helping them transform dreams into achievements. Their legacy continues to inspire thousands across the country.
To express our heartfelt gratitude to our guest, we now move to the felicitation ceremony. I request respected Shashank Sir, convener of UDAAN, to kindly present a burst of token to Samarjit Sir. I request Naman Sir to present a burst of a token as an appreciation to Samarjit Sir.
To officially extend a warm welcome to the legacy of our institution and the dignitaries address and acquaint our audience with the seminar in focus, I would like to invite Shashank sir to deliver the welcome address.
Good afternoon, everyone. Dignitaries on the dais and dear students, welcome to all of you. I welcome you all for the UPSC Diaries Seminar 25 for Beginners Strategy for UPSC Preparation. I know many of you are here first years and second years, and you are very much curious about how to prepare for the UPSC exam. UDAAN is a society that provides you that platform, that guidance, because majority of the students that are here or that who wants to aspire for UPSC civil service, they come from a rural background and a very modest socio-economic background. So they have a lot of insecurities, they have a lot of hesitation, and they don't know how to proceed for that exam. So UDAAN is one such society within a college, whereby every time, sooner or later, we continues to conduct a seminar. And this time again, after a like gap of 6 months, we are conducting a seminar with Vajiram and Ravi. Vajiram is it's a very prestigious institute, civil service institute, and every year they give good results, good selections. So we have with us Samarjit sir, Chief Operating Officer of Vajiram and Ravi. He'll be guiding you all that how to proceed for the UPSC civil service exam. You may ask as many questions as you can. Even our principal sir is very much enthusiastic about this society. In fact, to those who are new over here, he is the founding member of this society while he was here in our college before joining as principal. So he always he was about to join, but due to some urgent meeting from within the university, he is not able to join. But he has sent his best wishes. And once the seminar gets over, I'll request you all of you to please be seated. Vajiram and Ravi will be conducting a scholarship test. In that scholarship test, they will be giving you a 30 MCQ questions and 3 descriptive type questions. So this is something where you can assess your potential, and you will also be knowing that what are the questions or what kind of questions that the UPSC can ask based on your textbook syllabus. So this is one such platform where you can resolve all your queries. So feel free to ask as many questions, as many, and without any hesitation. Okay? We all are here to mentor you, to nurture you, to guide you. Thank you. And with this, we'll be formally beginning our program. Thank you.
So, thank you, sir, for your insightful words. Moving ahead, we now have with us someone who has guided thousands of aspirants on their journey to becoming civil servant, a true mentor and leader in the field of UPSC preparation. When it comes to cracking the civil services examination, one of the most defining choices is selecting the right optional subject. This decision can shape an aspirant's entire preparation journey and ultimately their result. To share his expertise on this crucial aspect and offer valuable guidance from his rich experience, we are honored to welcome our guest speaker, Mr. Samarjit Mishra, sir, Chief Operating Officer of Vajiram and Ravi IAS. Let's welcome him warmly with a round of applause.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, guys. Good afternoon. Thank you for the kind words and the introduction that you gave me. But let me tell you, you only become a mentor when the mentees are good, right? So you get a result only when students are hardworking and not only smart. Okay. I've been told that most of the students in this crowd is first year and second year, isn't it? Huh? Anyone from the third year? A few? Okay. I can see one. Okay. Let's start from the very basic and let's go step by step so that never ever in your life you would have to waste your time on any internet source or any YouTube video to understand what is civil service, what has to be done for it. If you ever aspire to crack it, what are the steps that you must take? So that's the agenda. I'll be slow enough so that it do not becomes a monologue that it is only me who is speaking. I'll give you enough time that you absorb the information, process it, and as sir has emphasized lot many times, ask as many questions as possible. Before I start, let me tell you I'm greatly thankful to your college administration, especially the conveners who are sitting over here. I met them last time also and the energy doesn't drop. They are equally as contributed as they were last time, that they want good rankers from your college. Now you see, if you look at those 1000 odd students who get selected every year in civil services, majority number of those geographically are placed in Delhi, which means the moment you say engineering, probably Kota is a place that will hit your mind. And the moment I say civil services, Delhi is the place which will hit your mind, isn't it? To be exact, I think it's a place called Old Rajendra Nagar that will hit your mind. Now, what is there in Old Rajendra Nagar? How come a geography decide what kind of a career you may have in your life? It's not exactly geography. It's exactly the ecosystem which is present in a particular place. We have been the leaders of that ecosystem. We have formed that ecosystem. Vajiram was established way back in 1976. This is 2025. More than 5 decades of service and making the steel frame of India. We understood one thing. And one thing is, no matter how good a coaching center is, it is not the coaching which makes an officer. It is the student who makes an officer out of themselves. So if you feel that Vajiram is here or ABCDEFGH is here, I was very much inspired by their speech or their presentation or the seminar. Let me join a course with them and probably I'll become an IAS officer. Let me tell you, the work of a coaching center is only to act as a catalyst. No coaching center, no matter how great it is, delivering the speech on behalf of Vajiram, I'm telling you this. Every year, out of 1,000 students, more than 500 are students of Vajiram. And these are not students who came for interview program, the videos and reels that you keep on seeing on Instagram and YouTube. These are students that we have taught for years. Coming from that platform, let me tell you, what all Vajiram could do is that fasten up the process or could act as a catalyst to help them achieve their goal. But in none of the ways Vajiram and Ravi can ever claim it is only Vajiram who has made so many officers. Which means what I'm all trying to submit in front of you is that if you ever want to crack UPSC and become an IS officer or an IPS officer or an IFS officer, that trust shall be on yourself and not on a coaching center. Once you are done with this idea that it is me who has to work hard, then comes other things. Then comes the question, why do I prepare for civil services? Why not something else? Since most of the students are from first year and second year, let me go back a bit into the historical perspective itself. See, the origin of the civil services goes years back to the time when the Britishers were ruling us. Because they were a colonial power, believed majorly in territorial expansion, the military services were very, very important for them. However, once you capture an area, the administration of the area is equally important. And that's how the non-military services, or what are called as civil services, were born in India. Now, to keep more and more Englishmen into it, to bring in more and more efficiency into it, to put in more and more organizational structure into it, the bureaucracy evolved in India. In due course of time, they became the very imagination and the shadow of the mentality of the British government, hence not very much liked by our founding fathers or the freedom fighters. But the moment we got independence, came a debate. Shall we continue with the civil services or shall we drop them because these people represented the very aura of British government? And the two people fighting against each other in this case were none other than Sardar Patel and Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Nehru, who has been the foremost of leaders during the national movement, was of the view that the civil servants or the bureaucrats represented a colonial mindset, and as such, they should be abolished then and there. However, Sardar Patel had a faith that these are meritorious, talented individuals. These are those people who have the right amount of skill set. If right kind of guidance or a head is provided to them, they can do miracles. And India, which was reeling under poverty at that point of time, 90% of people were under below poverty line, 16% hardly literacy rate. The GDP is reeling somewhere, we don't know mathematically where we can place it. A decision was taken that let's continue the civil services. However, let's change the way they act. In place of a mind of a British colonial ruler, we replaced an independent, free India mindset. And that's how civil services were reborn in India. Because it was Sardar Patel who stood across in order to continue the services, he himself is also called as the father of Indian civil services. Now, if you know a bit about Sardar Patel, you know what he is called. He is called the Iron Man of India. And there is a reason he is the Iron Man. That is because he tried keeping India as one. Until date, the political map that you have pasted in your room, the Indian map, is nothing but the contribution of Sardar Patel. And the job to continue or keep that map intact, what it was, it shall be, was given to the steel frame of India. And that steel frame is nothing but the civil services. So a body, UPSC, Union Public Service Commission, was created under the Constitution of India in order to recruit meritorious individuals every year so that they become a part of bureaucracy, or what we say, civil services in India. Hence, UPSC since independence have been conducting this exam every year without fail and recruiting people to serve Mother India. Now, if you look at those 1,000 jobs, 1,000 aspirants, 1,000 officers who are selected every year, let me tell you, not all of them are IAS officers. Rather, there are close to 2 dozens jobs, around 24 jobs, which are recruited through the same exam. I'm sure there are many that you already know. For example, IAS, Indian Administrative Services, you know about it. For example, IPS, Indian Police Services, you already know about it. IRS, Indian Revenue Services, Indian Foreign Services. But even after this, there are another 20 different jobs like Indian Civil Account Services, Indian Corporate Law Services, Indian Audit and Account Services, Indian Defense Estate Services, Indian Defense Account Services, and so on and so forth. Although the initial 3 and 4 are very, very famous in India, yet let me tell you, even if you get the last rank in those 1,000 people, you become the head of a particular department. Which means anyone and everyone who clears this exam is placed in a prestigious job. And that's what attracts thousands and thousands and lakhs of aspirants every year for this exam. Because in our society, the placement is very, very important. Social prestige comes with what kind of a job you are doing. And when it comes to government job, take my words, nothing beats civil services. Hence, mazak mein, if you say if two people are fighting, then one questions the other, to collector hai kya? Now that question, to collector hai kya, is not just about saying that are you some authoritative figure, but is equally telling you that it is something which is the very zenith of wisdom and power in this country. And we need to accept that we love power. Hence, if you're looking for a job which has enough power in it, then civil service could be a career option for you. Think about it. Rather than just complaining that these are the problems all around our society, and I'm sure all of you must have complained. Road kharab hai, pani kharab hai, air kharab hai, isn't it? If you want to become one who can also become the solution provider, let's fix the road. Let's get the drinking water via taps to the houses. Let's fix the air. If you want to become a solution provider, again, civil services is a career option for you. Making sense? So not only just social prestige, but it also places you as a change maker in society, the one who can change India. Think about it. What kind of an India do we want to live in? What kind of a society do we want to build in? Is it the same that we were born, or should it change with time as we progress? And the answer should always be the latter, isn't it? And that has been the dreams or the founding fathers of India, including the man on whose name your college is named. Making sense? That's exactly what he also dreamt of, and that's exactly what is our duty also. Rather than just complaining that these are the problems, we must also become a part of the force which is responsible for solving those issues. So if you are one who looks forward to solve the issues, then civil services is a career option for you. Am I making sense to all of you? समझ में आ रहा है मैं क्या बोलने की कोशिश कर रहा हूं? You must first understand why you should get into civil service. Do not become a part of the herd mentality. Because we are in Delhi, we are in DU, and every second person is preparing for civil service, let me also prepare. You might not click the exam. That's because motivation is always internal. If you think that looking at a YouTube video or buying a poster from CP or pasting a quote in your room, you will get motivated. Let me tell you something that might nudge you for a day or 2 or 10 days, but on the 11th day, you will stop seeing it. Which means to motivate yourself for any of the things, it must come from within. For it to come from within, you must first understand why are you being attracted to it. Making sense? So please understand why one should join civil service. Let me put up the third point. If you talk about the very job profile of civil services, it's one of the most diversified jobs in India. Unlike any other job where your work is more or less monotonous, you get into things and you know exactly what may happen tomorrow morning. Civil services is the only job where you do not know what will happen tomorrow morning. A district collector has no clue what is going to happen the moment he reaches the office, or the moment he's traveling in the car, or the moment he's having his breakfast while he's getting ready. So if you love that kind of enthusiasm, a kind of adrenaline rush, that I want to get into a job which gives me good amount of challenges, and not only challenges, I must also possess the power to solve it, then again, civil service could be an option for you. It is the diversity of the job which also gives you experience. One day you are working as the secretary for the cultural ministry, promoting culture of India, and the next day you are posted into IMF looking for the financial status of Indian economy. That is the amount of diversity that civil service offers you. There is no other job which will offer you this kind of exposure to what is happening all around you. So if you're looking for that kind of exposure and experience and diversity, again, civil service is a career option for you. Not only that, let's talk the pragmatic part, which is the financial part. Even you look at the job which is not only stable, because end of the day sarkari naukri hai, right? So kahin nahi ja rahi hai. We have seen COVID-19, what happened to private sector. You see the bureaucrats, they were enjoying, they're still enjoying, and they'll keep on enjoying. That's the amount of assurance that you get from government of India, because you are only government of India. You don't go anywhere. Having said so, even if you look at the financial stability, that is also great for civil services. So not only does it places you well in the society, makes you a solution provider, gives you ample opportunity to change the society, gives you diversity in the job, but also places you in a stable job along with financial security. If you're looking at all of these things, then civil service is the career for you. Now the question is, if there are so many advantages to the job, what is needed to click the job? But before I tell you what is needed to click the job, let me first try telling you how the people are recruited in this exam. UPSC, as I said, is the recruiting agency which every year conducts an exam which is divided into 3 phases. And I'm sure you know the 3 phases. What is the first phase? It is the prelims exam, right? Now, prelims exam, if you see the nature of the exam, it is a MCQ objective based exam, which means in front of you only you can see the answers. Then what is UPSC trying to test there? Now, UPSC is trying to test how much of knowledge and wisdom do you have? Which means, are you a person who consumes information, or are you a person who processes the information into knowledge and wisdom? Let me tell you, in an age of computers, where on a click of a mouse, you get the information, we are not looking for people who can consume information. So if you get impressed by people winning quiz competitions, let me tell you, that is not generally wisdom. It is generally information. For instance, let me ask you this question. Who is the Prime Minister of India? Who doesn't know in the class who is the Prime Minister of India? Everyone knows the name. What's the name? Sri Narendra Modi, right? Great. That's information. UPSC in this life is never going to ask you which of the following 4 people are Prime Minister of India. Making sense? You may know it to use it at some point, probably to quote in some of the answers. Making sense? That's information. When a starter like you looks at a newspaper, looks at data, Gaza was attacked by Israel. 14,786 people died. For you, 14,876 is important. Let me tell you, that is a useless piece of information. Then what is important? Now, knowledge is important. Now, what is knowledge? Let me ask you this question. How is the Prime Minister of India elected? How do you get the Prime Minister of India? How is he appointed? All of you, Narendra Modi is the Prime Minister. You must also be knowing how he is appointed. How is he appointed? Anyone? Anyone in the class? How is the Prime Minister appointed in India? None of you know how the Prime Minister of India is elected. By the members of Lok Sabha. Okay. There is no election of Prime Minister in India. Neither by members nor by people. We vote for members of parliament, MPs. And that political party, which according to the president can form a stable government, is invited by the president to form the government, and the leader of that party becomes the prime minister. Now that is knowledge. So just knowing that Narendra Modi is the prime minister is of no use in civil services. Rather, how you got prime minister is which could be asked in the exam. Okay, let me ask you this question. Do we really need a prime minister? Or can we go for a presidential system? Like, what is the harm if we go with a model like US? Let's have a Donald Trump. What's the problem? Now, whether it is good or not, and whether it is bad or not, is what is called as wisdom. Now, if you're looking ahead for civil services examination, let me tell you, all the advantages that I told you, all the 5 or 6, makes you understand that it is an extraordinary opportunity. Now, if it is an extraordinary opportunity, it also needs extraordinary efforts. Making sense? And take my words, it may feel a little bad to you, but look at the people sitting all around you and try meeting them after 10 or 15 years. Today, all of you are equal in this college. After 10 or 15 years, you will not be equally placed. Some will be doing better than others. Now, who are the one who will be doing better than others? Now, the one who will focus today on knowledge and wisdom. If you feel that just consuming information, remembering numbers and names are going to take you a great lead in life, then you are wrongly placed. You must understand that it is end of the day knowledge and wisdom which takes you ahead, not only in civil services, but in any field of your life. If you are one who is giving me information, and on a click of a mouse I can get the same information, why do I rely on you? Which means you have to work on yourself extraordinarily to understand how to crack this exam. And that's where you must start focusing at knowledge and wisdom. Now the question is, how can you focus on knowledge and wisdom? Let me share very, very quickly just 2 things. I hope you must have heard about Rudyard Kipling, the man who got a Nobel Prize. I believe it is 1921. Are Jungle Book dekha hoga? That is the writer. When he was receiving the Nobel Prize, he was asked by the host that, sir, you are receiving the Nobel Prize and we have seen extraordinary work by you. To whom would you like to contribute or attribute the award that you are receiving? This is a very ordinary question, probably asked to all the winners. Kisko shray denge? But then in front of them was Kipling, one of the most extraordinary writers we have ever seen. So to this very ordinary question, to whom would you like to attribute your award? He gave a very extraordinary answer. He said, I would like to give this award to 6 of my serving men. Now, who are these 6 serving men or 6 serving servants? He said, the 5W and 1H. Now, this is not something that we don't know. All of us have been taught the 5Ws and 1H in our school days. What, when, where, why, and how. If you are not asking yourself these 6 questions when you are studying anything, let me tell you, you are consuming information. You are not processing the information into knowledge and wisdom. That's one way of having a flawless learning or what we say a conceptual understanding of things. The second thing is not just about having the first point, which is the 6 points or the 6 questions. What we say is an inquiring mind. Only an inquiring mind is not enough. The second mind is a restructuring mind. Aristotle, some 2005 years ago, have written down a complete essay on how to study. For most of you, if I come over here and start speaking about civil services, I know question. Question is, sir, please tell us the books that we need to read. Let me tell you, on a click of your mouse, on the internet, you will come across plethora number of books. There is a great amount of confusion that we'll speak of in some time, but still, the book list more or less is settled in UPSC. If the book list is settled for everyone, if everyone is reading the similar kind of books or same set of books, then why not everyone is qualifying the exam? That's because it is not only about reading the right books, it is also about how to read those books. And that's what is point number 2, is a restructuring mind. Aristotle talks about a mind having the senses to understand the right kind of concepts in a particular thing. For instance, if you're reading a book and there are 200 pages in the book, do you think humanly you can understand and remember all the 200 pages? Not possible. At the same time, is it really important to understand and remember 200 pages? Not required. Then what is required? Now, the conceptual part is required. If a chapter is having 20 pages, then hardly 3 or 4 pages gives you the essence of the chapter. And that is what is important. Your mind shall be smart enough to differentiate, distinguish the peripheral, decorative, instrumental information from that of the substance of the chapter. If you can have an inquiring mind and a restructuring mind, take my words, you can put in extraordinary efforts. And that doesn't only work for UPSC. For your surprise, let me tell you, it works for anything and everything that you want to do in your life. Start training your mind like that from today itself. Making sense? Now, if you look at the very first stage prelims, it is just trying to test all the 3, not in equal proportion, obviously knowledge and wisdom more, but also information at some point of time. However, the point you reach to the second stage, which is the mains exam, right? And mains exam has got how many papers? Let's try counting them. So the very first paper is a essay paper. Then we come across 4 GS paper, GS 1, 2, 3 and 4. And then we have 2 language papers, qualifying paper, but yet we have to write them. And then comes 2 optional papers. These are all the papers that we give, isn't it? 1750 marks, 250 marks. Each paper, leave the qualifying papers, you have the other from where marking is happening. For a moment, let's leave essay and optional, because essay is the culmination of all the knowledge that you have from multiple sources, and optional will vary from person to person. However, the consistent part that all of you will be writing in the main exam is the GS, General Studies. If you look at the 4 papers, GS 1, 2, 3 and 4, there are 21 subject points in these 4 papers. For instance, paper 1 will have history, geography and social issues. History by itself will have 5 sections: ancient India, medieval India, modern India, post-independent India, art and culture and world history. Geography will have 3 sections: concept of geography or physical geography, Indian geography and then human geography. Then comes social issues. Then comes paper 2, polity and constitution, governance in India, social justice, international relations. Paper 3, economics and agriculture, science and technology, internal security. All of the things that I'm telling you, you can just go to the brochure that has been given to you and go to the exact middle page. That's exactly what is needed for you, because after this session, if you're serious about the exam, tear off that middle page and paste it on your study table, because it talks about the syllabus that I'm trying to define you. Now, if you have a good hold on the syllabus, you'll be able to hit the exam easily, because Unlike prelims exam, which is objective and many current affair question would come, which might give you an element of surprise, the mains exam, which is the actual determining exam, is a pretty predictable exam. You can very well, to a 80 or 90% scenario, I would say, predict the main exam. And that prediction will come from that syllabus. If you want to prepare this exam, the 2 pages that are in front of you is exactly what you shall be looking forward in the next 2 to 3 years. Making sense? And that is going to check only and only your knowledge and wisdom and no information. If you bombard more of information, that might decorate your answer but will not get you marks. What gets you mark is your analysis on those points. The third stage is what is called as the interview stage or the personality test, wherein an interview board, probably of 5 to 6 members, who are mostly very, very senior members, take it at least 30 years of bureaucratic experience, will be sitting in front of you to check whether you are having those qualities which they are trying to look for in a DM or a district collector or a district magistrate. And for sure, one thing they are looking for is confidence. And that confidence will only come if you know your syllabus. Hence, the most important thing is that syllabus. Although it is generally said that it is not the knowledge which is tested in interview, yet let me bust the myth and tell you, end of the day, it is knowledge only. Because for whatever you will be communicating in front of the board, it will be nothing but discussions on topics. And the more legit and valid answers you give, the more the discussion would continue and you will end up getting some good marks. Making sense? Now, those may be asked on your background, those may be asked on current affairs, those may be asked on your optional, those may be asked on your personal detailing like your hobbies or interest, etc. But the question is, everything will revolve around one idea, and that is knowledge and wisdom. So, if you are a person who does not just consume information and believes in probably getting into detail of things, then civil service is the best career option for you. Now, if on the one hand we accept this, that yes, it looks like a lucrative option, it looks like a good option to pursue, the very next question is, then why are not people pursuing it? That is because there is a good amount of myth revolving around civil services. And many of these myths do many a time keep even potentially good students out of civil services. For instance, there are many myths that you know. Let me bust a few of them. For instance, number one is that the syllabus is never ending. Anything and everything under the sun can be asked. Now, let me tell you, that is kind of a escapism for students. For those students who are not very serious. If every year 13,000 students are qualifying prelim exam, then good number of students do have the capacity to learn what is being asked in the exam, isn't it? Now the question is it really the case that questions are asked outside of the syllabus? Answer is both yes and no. There is nothing called as a syllabus for the prelim exam. It's rather a very indicative part of UPSC what has to be asked. However, if one can apply some common sense, she will be able to answer most of the questions. At the same time, mathematically, you need to understand that to qualify this exam, you don't have to top it. You don't have to solve all the questions. Rather, you must understand that even if you are able to solve 50% of the questions, you will be qualifying this exam. Now, those questions which makes you think that questions are asked outside of syllabus are hardly 2, 5, 7, 10, 15, isn't it? Even if you make it 15, then also there are 85 questions which have been asked from the syllabus. And a serious aspirant never will waste her time in looking at those 15 questions. She will rather focus on those 85 questions which are doable, and from those 85 questions, she'll figure out the 50 questions which will help her write the mains exam. Now, this is called as mindset. You see, when the exam is done, there are two kinds of people who will come out. One set of people who will be saying, अरे एग्जाम तो बहुत ही खराब था, कुछ भी पूछ देते हैं, पूछ लिया कि कौन सा कैमल पानी में तैर सकता है, पूछ लिया कि कौन सा टर्टल वेजिटेरियन खाना खाता है, कौन सा मशरूम पहाड़ में कहाँ होता है। आप ये सारे क्वेश्चन जोड़ लेंगे तो कितने क्वेश्चन होंगे? 5, 7, 10, छोड़ दीजिए। आपको एग्जाम क्वालिफाई करना है, टॉप नहीं करना है। If you can understand this, then your mindset will change. Then you will stop crying and cribbing on those 5, 7, or 10 questions. Then you will pragmatically see that, oh, great, now to focus on 90. But let me tell you, once you become a serious aspirant, the one who is actively looking into civil services, they will pray to God for these kind of questions to come. That is because while on the one hand it mentally disturbs the weak students, it's a competition at the end of the day. While it disturbs the mentally weak student, ab kaise hoga? It also gives ample opportunity for the serious ones to apply their common sense and solve those questions. For instance, a question came on camel, khadai camel to be exact. And the question asked was if this camel can swim in water or not. That amazed and surprised many of the aspirants. अब क्या सारे ऊंट पढ़े जितने दुनिया में है? But the very second statement was that it was domesticated by a group of people. And the third was regarding its location in Gujarat. Now, if you apply your common sense and take an assumption that it is domesticated by people, then you know people love hygiene. And some point of time, they will take the camel to take a bath in river or sea. And if they're taking the camel to take a bath in river or sea, by your common sense, survival instinct, the camel will swim. And that solves the question. Point is, do we need to read all the camels of planet Earth? No. You just need to understand that survival instinct are important. For instance, another question came, if turtles can eat vegetarian food or not. अरे इतने turtles हैं, कोई एक तो non vegetarian खाता होगा? Question solved. Think about it. That is how a serious aspirant will pray that these questions should come in more numbers. Because applying common sense, he or she can solve those questions, while the other who is not very serious will panic looking at those questions. Making sense? So there is nothing kind of a myth that things come outside of the syllabus. Things always come from the 2 pages that I just asked you to see. From those 2 pages. If you have a good hold on that, you do not need to worry about it. The second biggest myth is that you need to study some 14 or 15 hours a day in order to qualify this exam. What do you think? Is it possible to study 14 or 15 hours a day? Answer is yes, provided exam kal subah ho. Right? Or saal bhar humne padhai nahi ki hai. Right? Is it possible for a student to study 14 or 15 hours a day for 365 days? It is not. जब मेंस एग्जाम सामने है तो 14 क्यों, हो सकता है 16-18 घंटे भी पढ़ लें अगर पढ़ाई नहीं की है और पढ़ाई कर रखी है, then you don't need to bother about it. Which means to qualify this exam, it is not number of hours that is important. It is consistency that is important. Right now, you people are placed in first year and second year. You are not yet 21 and graduate. The qualification needed to sit for the exam. If you determine from today itself and start giving 3 hours on an average from today itself, and if you study for 10 months, not even all the 12 months, 10 months, then 300 days into 3 hours is 900 hours, and the next 2 or 3 years makes it 1800 or 2700 hours. 2 महीने आप हर साल घूमिए. Then also by the time you will be 21 and graduate, none can beat you when it comes to cracking the exam. Let me tell you some names. Have you come across a name Tina Dabi or Ria Dabi, her sister, or Ishita Kishore or Shruti Sharma? Have you come across these names? What is the common thing between all of them? Let me tell you 2 common things. Number 1, all of them are girls. Number 2, all of them were GS students of Vajiram. Let me tell you the third common thing. All of them started preparing when they were in their first year or second year. Which means this exam, irrespective of whomsoever says what, is going to take some time. The sooner you start, the better you are placed. ऐसा बिल्कुल भी नहीं है कि 4 साल बाद शुरू करेंगे तो 6 महीने में खत्म हो जाएगा. सिलेबस इतना है कि आपको 1.5 से 2 साल लगेगा. No matter where you are placed and no matter how great a student you are. The acceptance of pragmatism comes in the idea that if it is going to take me another 1.5 to 2 years, let me start early. Now, if you are looking for a single year achievement, then you have to study 14 hours a day. No one can stop it. But if you have another 2 to 3 years, you study 3 hours a day, that too for 5 days in a 7 days week, enjoy your weekends, and then continue the same routine for next 3 years, you are placed at a position to qualify this exam in the very first go. Making sense? Do think about it. There is no such thing that you have to study 14 or 18 hours a day. Number 3, lakhs of students appear for this exam. What are my chances of qualifying this exam? Can anyone tell me how many students do apply for UPSC? Any idea? 10 lakh, right? The maximum till date has been 11 lakh, a few thousands. 11 lakh student applying. So the very fundamental question which comes to the mind is, मेरा number कहाँ है? 11 lakh लोगों में. To your surprise, let me tell you, UPSC in its official reports only quotes that never ever the attendance of UPSC prelim exam has crossed 5 lakhs. Which means even if 11 lakh are applying, how many do sit for the exam? It is 5 lakh. आपका 50% competition legit will से खत्म हो गया कि 6 लाख लोगों के पास वो will नहीं था कि वो जाके बैठते. Making sense? But then question remains legit. What is my chances in 5 lakh people? Isn't it? I have a very simple question. Do you think 5 lakh people are your competitors? Not really. Rather, if you ask me the numbers of competitors, I will tell you that competition is hardly 30,000. And of that 30,000, 90% of the people right now are in Delhi. Either in the colleges of DU like you people or somewhere in old Rajendra Nagar. These are the people who in bulk are going to qualify the exam. Which means your competition is not with 11 lakh people, it is with just 30,000 people. Now the question is 30,000 a big number? My answer will be no. Your competition to get into a college of DU was more than the competition that you face in civil services. But the point is, DU was an affair of a single day. Civil service is a dedication for an entire year. Making sense? That's where the difference comes in. So please do not fall for a myth of number that the numbers are against you. No, the numbers are very well in favor of you. If you look at just DU selection, let me tell you, 1 of every 11th will hit in DU, either through graduation or masters in the last 4 years of rolling courses. Not necessarily a student right now in DU, but was a student of DU. 1 in 11? Isn't that a promising number? And see, people discourage by saying that there is a chance of 0.000001% of chances to qualify the exam. In your life, you will get n number of situations where the easiest path will be to escape, to run away, to not do it. But you will also get certain advantages at some places where you might take a call and that call might change your life altogether. Making sense? Think about it, because every time your teacher or if I'm standing in front of you or your parents or your siblings, they tell you that, study some 3 or 4 hours for something, prepare for an exam, what you will do after graduation. If they say something like that, and if you're doing that, or sometimes even not doing that, and if you think that by doing so, you are doing a favor to us, to me, to your teachers, to your elders, to your parents, etc., let me tell you, then you are very wrongly placed. You are not doing any favor to them. Their career is stable, my career is stable, and so are your parents' career are stable. It is you who is to make a career. Those 3 or 4 hours that you are investing every day, you are investing it for a better future of yours. If you can understand this fact, you will understand the very fact that whatever you do for the next 2 to 3 years will decide your next 30 years. Good or bad, that depends on you. I generally tell to the students, and many of them have clicked the exam, I tell them jokingly that, see, life is like a sinusoidal graph. I believe all of you have read about sine, cos, tan during your school days, isn't it? It's like a sinusoidal graph. There is a crest, there is a trough. If you decide to take the crest right now, it may look a little difficult for you. मेरे दोस्त घूम रहे हैं, मैं पढ़ाई कर रहा हूं. मेरे दोस्त पार्टी में जा रहे हैं, मैं पढ़ाई कर रहा हूं. मेरे दोस्त कॉन्सर्ट में बैठे हैं, मैं पढ़ाई कर रहा हूं. So they took the trough, you took the crest. But the point is, after another 2 or 3 years, you will have a long trough while they will face the crest. Now this is life. Whether you accept it today, or whether you accept it after 5 years, or whether you accept it after 20 years, the more time you take, the more crest you are taking. Making sense? Now, if you can understand this, your life will change. If you do not understand this, then let's accept the fact that not everyone will be equally successful in life. From the same crowd, some people will be doing miraculously good job. From the same crowd, people will be doing nothing. Making sense? And that's how life treats you. Point is, when do you take a call that I am going to change my life? If you keep on believing in myths all around and you start accepting them and accept the very fact that I can run away from this, then nothing is going to change for you. But if you take a call that let it be there, let me take a call. If there are 1,000 students who are doing it, I can also do it. Then life will start changing for you. And remember, fortune favors the brave. If you do that, then that is what is your luck. People say, no, he got the rank by luck. You must understand, he was lucky in doing the hard work. It is your hard work meeting destiny which created your luck. It is not that he was sleeping in his bedroom, woke up, wrote the exam, and became rank 1. It was the conscious calls that she took in order to prepare for the exam. Making sense? And the best time to understand it is your college days. College days gives you a platform which is better than any other time. There are many advantages of college. Number 1, right now you are in your formative years of education. Although you are done with school, right now you have been exposed to many new subjects. And because you are young, your mind is also able to have a good amount of cognitive sense. No matter whatever is your subject, and I believe that you have many subjects in your graduation days, you accept all of them, you learn all of them. As I said, GS also will have 21 subjects. So your college days will place you very well in order to take them. Making sense? Similarly, right now, none of you is having a stress to earn money for your family. You may not realize it today, but in due course of time, this is going to happen. Both the genders are going to face their respective problems. Some might face the social problems, some might face the financial problem, some might get into psychological problems. But with increasing age, all of these problems will start shadowing your life. But right now, for the next 3 years, all of you are on a sponsored education loan by your parents. You don't have to return anything. Right now, you do not have a stress. And take my word, things that you do under stress and things that you do under without any stress have a huge difference in outcome. Making sense? Third and most important thing, no matter how much of time you are engaged in the college, a day has 24 hours. I strongly believe your college will not be consuming more than 8 hours, no matter how many extracurricular activities you are doing. 8 hours of college engagement, 8 hours of sleep, you are still remaining with 8 hours, of which enjoy 5 hours. Put just 3 hours. And those 3 hours compounding in the next 2 to 3 years will have a huge impact in your life. Making sense? Make sure that if you want to prepare for this exam, take a call in your college days. Do not wait for your graduations to be done. And one fine day you decide, I want to become a collector. Let me pack my bags and go to Old Rajendra Nagar. Because when you come there, we'll meet again. But the point is, you might then remember, oh, this teacher told me some 3 years back that I must have started, I would be having an advantage of around 1800 to 2700 hours. And UPSC syllabus is not more than 900 hours. If you even read the nitty gritty of the syllabus, you can multiply it or revise it 3 times. That's exactly how mathematics works for civil services. Making sense? Huh? Now let's come to a very core question. I think enough of inspiration for civil services. Question is, if one is serious, what should one do? The very first thing is look at the syllabus and try understanding what kind of things are entertained in the exam. Once you have understood it, the second most important thing is to get the right resources. Now see, there is a huge amount of confusion when it comes to different kind of books, because every publication house will be trying to sell across its book saying that it is the best book, right? So what we will do is we will place a few set of yellow books, the books which are needed for the civil service exam, and are given to the students who are enrolled at Vajiram, who are ultimately, or those books are the ultimate guide resources for you in your library. Free of cost, you can access them, study them, keep them back, and then continue your preparation. However, if you look at the very start of preparation, one might tell you to read the NCRTs. Remember, if you're reading NCRTs, then make sure your subject shall be, the very first shall be modern India, then shall be ancient India, then shall be polity, then geography. Ultimately, it should be economics, because economics, I believe, is one of the most technical subjects and might need a good amount of guidance and maturity also to understand. I hope your teachers will help you out in all those subjects. They're more than open doing that. This shall be the flow of subject. However, when it comes to reading of NCRT, my strong suggestion would be, please read only the NCRT of 11th and 12th. Please do not go with this 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. Go with the old NCRTs. For geography only, I think Sashank sir will tell you the new ones are good. You can read 11th and 12th. Point is, except geography, for any of the NCRT, if you ask anyone, I'm preparing for UPSC, what shall I do? They will say, read the NCRT. But the very next question, if you ask them, can I qualify the exam reading only NCRTs? The answer is no. Which means NCRT are just to rebrush or brush up the fact that you left in your school days. The real competition lies in the standard books. I think for polity, there is a book called Lakshmikant, and for modern India, there is a book called Spectrum. Apart from these two books, for every other thing, the yellow books of Vajiram and Ravi are good enough to go ahead, including even polity. Rather, I tell the students in the class itself that if you're reading Lakshmikant, you are only preparing yourself for the prelims exam. Once you qualify the prelims, it will be very, very difficult to look at a new book, because the gap between prelims and mains is hardly for 90 days. So make sure you are taking a book which is both prelims as well as mains oriented, and that's where the yellow book may be of great help. For modern India, similarly, Spectrum in the last 5 to 7 years has also got a good amount of credibility, but the number of pages are increasing in the book. So that's another call for you. If you are a one who is a ardent or a vivid reader, you can take a book, because that's a thick book. Otherwise, even the yellow book of Vajiram is more than enough. Having said so, that NCRTs of class 11th and 12th and standard books of Vajiram, let me also tell you, the next very important thing is reading a newspaper daily. Please start looking at a newspaper, if not in entire detail, at least partially. The very first question could be, which newspaper? I need not tell you, it is Hindu and Express, which are doing great. Either you take Hindu or Express, any one of them is super fine. Number two, what to read in the newspaper? So you first need to understand that there are two kinds of things in a newspaper. One is called as the news reporting, and the other is called as the news analysis. News reporting is what has happened in the country and the world in the last 24 hours. For a UPSC aspirant, this is not really very, very important. It may give you some information of what is happening all around you, but not important from the perspective of the examination. Then what is important? Now, news analysis is important, which means some part of the news reporting will be analyzed by the analyst, the writers, the academician, the authors. the subject experts in the next 4, 5, 7, 10 days on the same topic. That is where you need to focus. What we also say, editorial, text or context or articles. You need to focus on these. Rather, I would say you must always go for reverse engineering in newspaper. First read the editorial page, and then if time permits, then you read the national headline, state headline and other things. Otherwise, you can take a very much a conscious call to just read the editorials. If you are finding it difficult to figure out which are the things to be read in the newspaper, that on the social media handles of Vajiram, every day before 9 a.m., we post all the things which are relevant in Express and Hindu. You can just go through that list and read only those articles which are helpful. Now, not all come from the same background. Not all can understand the newspaper equally. Also, not all come from the similar kind of subjects. Hence, to help you all, around 5 p.m. in the YouTube handle of Vajiram, a program is uploaded every day by the name The Analyst, wherein a mentor will take the important editorials which are UPSC oriented and will put them across in a 35 minutes to 40 minutes video. You can download the PDF and do that every day. Make a habit to have a hold on your GS subject, the current affairs. Making sense? Optional per se can be decided even in the second year or by third year. See, you only get to write optional if you qualify prelims. And to qualify prelims, your hold on GS is very, very important. So make sure you are reading the GS very well, not only the static portion, the conceptual part, but also the current affairs part. One of the most important skills to qualify this exam is drafting answers. I will not ask you or advise you to write answers of UPSC right away. Rather, if you can draft short paragraphs for whatever you are reading in the newspaper in your own words, that will go a long way in UPSC exam. Making sense? Huh? Which means overall what I'm trying to tell you all is that if you are making a call to prepare for this exam, then you should start working for it. A hollow commitment that I will qualify this exam is of no use. Ravindran sir, the founder of Vajiram and Ravi, used to say that to conquer this exam, there are two C's which are very, very important. One is commitment. All of you sitting in this classroom is evident that you have a commitment for this exam, but that commitment is not enough. What is also important is consistency. Unless and until you are not consistent in your efforts, you will not be able to qualify this exam. Studying one day for 10 hours and then vanishing from the table for the next 7 days is not the sign of a serious aspirant. Every day 3 hours for the next 3 years would be the sign of a serious aspirant. Making sense? I hope I have cleared the idea about civil services. Let me just end by saying one thing. Remember, wherever there is a will, there is a way. All of you sitting over here are privileged students of this country. I've met students who had nothing and absolutely nothing. And I've seen them wearing uniform in next 2 years or becoming a DC in the next 5 years. Remember, if those people coming from disadvantaged background could do it, all of you are placed very, very well to do something better than them. Remember something. What you will become in your life depends on you and not anybody else, whether good or bad. Making sense? Remember, if you have a will, there will be a way. If anybody else can do it, you also has the equal potential to do it. The only point is, when do you commit to yourself to consistently work for civil services? Making sense? Great. With that, I'll rest and we'll see if there are any further questions in the Q&A round, and we'll try to answer more of your queries. Okay. Thank you very much for the patience listening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your insightful words and constant encouragement.
Learning becomes more meaningful when we engage and exchange ideas. We now open the floor for an interactive question and answer session. Please feel free to ask questions and gain valuable insights from our esteemed speakers. During the question and answer session, kindly ensure that your question is short and concise. Each participant may ask only one question to allow equal opportunity for others. I would now request Meghna to kindly pass the mic.
हेलो सर। हेलो हेलो सर, मेरा नाम अनुज है और मैं ज्योग्राफी ऑनर्स का छात्र हूँ। सर, जैसा कि आपने बताया कि आप पॉलिटी के फैकल्टी हैं और ओवर द इयर्स आपने काफ़ी सारे बच्चों को वाजीराम इंस्टीट्यूट में पढ़ाया है पॉलिटी वगैरह, तो आपको क्या लगता है एज पर योर एक्सपीरियंस कि किसी एक बच्चे का हो पाता है और दूसरे बच्चे का उसी साल नहीं हो पाता है? क्या वह मिस्टेक्स हैं जो एक एस्पिरेंट को अपनी अर्ली स्टेज में अवॉइड करनी चाहिए सर?
Audible to all? Did you hear his question? What he asked? Let's leave polity. Let's talk about one thing. What he's asking is why some people are able to qualify it while others who are given the same guidance are not able to qualify it. Isn't it? That's the question? Okay. Let me make it a better question or a bigger question, rather, right? See, I've been in this industry since the last 12 years, 11, 12 years to exact. So I've seen good amount of students qualify in this exam. At least me teaching in the last 6 years exposes me to close to around 500 to 600 students who are getting rank every year for the last 6 years. So you take it, I've seen around close to 5,000 officers in the last 10 years. If you ask me why those 5,000 students qualified this exam, why not in Vajiram some 10, 12,000 are studying every year? Why not the others have qualified and another 60,000 have not qualified? Or what is the marked difference between the one who qualifies and the one who could not qualify? I'll tell you there is only one thing. And that one thing is self-respect. Let me expand on that. See, generally when anyone tells to you that you must have self-respect, you think that no one should use any kind of a bad thing against your name. And that is what is self-respect. Or when people command some respect to you, that is self-respect. Or when people do not mean you in some ways, that is self-respect. Let me tell you, that is not. That is a very fake idea of what self-respect is. I'll tell you what self-respect is. It is prioritizing yourself. It is loving yourself. For instance, see, एग्जाम प्रिपरेशन कॉम्प्लेक्स है, बहुत सारी चीजें पढ़नी है, बहुत समय के लिए पढ़नी है, हो सकता है 2 साल 3 साल के लिए पढ़नी है, ठीक है। हम ह्यूमन बींग्स हैं, सोशल एनिमल्स हैं, दोस्त इंपॉर्टेंट है, दोस्त भी तो चाहिए यार, है ना? अब दोस्त हैं, स्ट्रेस है, तो चाय भी इंपॉर्टेंट है, चाय भी चाहिए बीच बीच में। राजेंद्र नगर तो चाय के दम पे चल रहा है ना? तो पढ़ाई भी इंपॉर्टेंट है, दोस्त भी इंपॉर्टेंट है, चाय भी इंपॉर्टेंट है। अब आप पढ़ाई कर रहे हैं, आपका दोस्त पीछे से आता है और बोलता है कि भाई चल चाय पी के आते हैं, आप जाओगे चाय पीने, है ना? बट आई विल टेल यू who will qualify and who will not. If you're reading a book, your friend comes and says, let's go for a tea, and you say, let's go. You close your book and go away to have a tea. In this life, you will not qualify. But the moment your friend comes and says, चल चाय पी के आते हैं, and you tell to him, यार प्लान बनाया था इसको खत्म करने का, आधा घंटा लगेगा, 15 मिनट लगेगा, 1 घंटा लगेगा, इसको खत्म करता हूं फिर चलेंगे, you will qualify. You know what is the difference? In both the cases, you are going for the tea. In both the cases, it is the same friend with whom you are going for the tea. The only difference is, in the first one, you compromised yourself. In the second one, you prioritized yourself. Those people who will prioritize themselves will qualify the exam. Book set same है बेटा, teacher भी same है, syllabus भी same है, question भी same है, more or less mental ability भी same है. जो लोग मेंस लिख रहे हैं, leave those people who could not qualify. Then why are some qualifying and some not? Because some prioritize them in the last 2 years. That's exactly what is the quality of a person who will qualify this exam. You make a plan and you stick to your plan. Those people who will stick to it, not only in polity, economics, geography, history, internal security, ethics, everything, they will qualify this exam. You know, this exam is not a difficult exam. This exam is an organized exam. आप अपना एफर्ट जितना ऑर्गेनाइज कर पाओ, आप उतने इजीली क्वालिफाई करोगे. Look at hundreds of people who are qualifying it in their very first year. Why they are able to do it? It is their first year of attempt, but not the first year of preparation. They're preparing since the last 2 years, and in the last 2 years, they have loved themselves. Which means, irrespective of what happens in my external environment, I'm going to not compromise my time. If you are one of those, you'll qualify. Making sense? Huh? Thank you.
गुड आफ्टरनून सर मैं क्रिश जायसवाल ज्योग्राफी ऑनर्स में सर मैं पूछ रहा हूँ हाउ डू वी चूज सर हाउ डू वी चूज अ ऑप्शनल सब्जेक्ट सर हम वही ऑप्शनल सब्जेक्ट चूज करें जिसमें हम बैचलर्स कर रहे हैं या फिर हाउ डू वी चूज बेसिकली
ठीक है, वेरी गुड क्वेश्चन. That was the reason I didn't talk about optional, expecting the question. Audible to all, right? Huh? How many of you are seriously looking for civil services? Raise your hands. Great, good number of people, right? Great. So all of you have to take one optional subject, isn't it? There is a formula given by UPSC itself, but not directly, indirectly. So let me try telling you the formula, ठीक है? तो आप में से जितने लोग सिविल सर्विसेज के लिए सीरियस हैं, let me ask you this question. How many of you want to continue with a subject that is being taught to you right now as your optional subject? See, this is a question. चलेगा हाथ नहीं उठाने से भी. This is a question which will only have a binary answer. Some will say yes, some will say no. कोई दूसरा आंसर हो सकता है इस सवाल का? कोई दूसरा आंसर नहीं है, राइट? इसका दो ही आंसर है. आइदर कुछ लोग हाँ बोलेंगे, हाँ सर हम उन्हीं सब्जेक्ट के साथ जाना चाहते हैं जो हमारे ग्रेजुएशन में है, मेरा ऑनर्स है या सब्जेक्ट है, या फिर नहीं सर उसके साथ नहीं जाना है. तो पहले वो देख लेते हैं जो उसके साथ जाना चाहते हैं. The one who wants to go with that subject, you already know the subject. If not entirely, in due course of time, Sashank sir will teach you entire geography, which means you will get to know what is there in geography. Now, because you are in DU and you have got finest of faculties, you may not need a coaching for it. To a larger extent, I will discourage you to take a coaching for it. देखो तुम्हारे जेब में पैसा है और तुम्हें यूपीएससी करना है, इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि कोचिंग जाना है. The moment I started what I told you, coaching is a catalyst. Coaching is not a guarantor. Making sense? Now, if you're going to go ahead with that subject which is in your curriculum, then do three things. Number one, download the syllabus of the subject. Number two, get all the resources of that subject of your first year, second year, third year. Books मिल जाएंगे. Number three, get last 5 years PYQs, previous year question. Because you know this subject, you do not need anyone to mark the resources to the syllabus. Please mark the resources to the syllabus to figure out where are you facing the voids कि इस टॉपिक के लिए मेरे पास रिसोर्स नहीं है. The moment you figure out कि इस टॉपिक के लिए मेरे पास रिसोर्स नहीं है, try arranging those resources. Let me guarantee you will get everything in Old Rajendra Nagar. You don't have to go anywhere. Photocopy मिल जाएंगे सबके. ठीक है? Because you know this subject, you are in your college days. Another point why you should prepare in college days. Start preparing the optional and you can come to the respective faculty. Sir, ये वाला पढ़ा समझ में नहीं आया, थोड़ा समझा देंगे क्या? ऐसा तो नहीं कि सर भगा देंगे, नहीं मैं नहीं बताऊंगा, पढ़ा देंगे पक्का से. That's where you can go ahead with your subject that is being taught to you. While for many in the classroom, the call could be a no. That no, I do not want to go with a subject which is being given to me as a part of curriculum in graduation. If your answer is no, I don't want to go with geography, which is my subject, I want to take something new, then the UPSC provides a formula of 5 steps in order to choose an optional. Step number 1 is interest or passion. Unlike GS, where the horizontal knowledge is more, in optional, the vertical knowledge is more. Unless and until you do not have interest, you will not be able to go deeper. Making sense? Interest is the most important factor here. For many of you, very logical question could be, अब सर मेरा ज्योग्राफी है पर मैं सोच रहा था PSI रे सोशियोलॉजी ले लूं या फिर साइकोलॉजी ले लूं या पब्लिक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन एक्सप्लोर कर लूं. अब मुझे तो पता नहीं है ये सब्जेक्ट. हाउ डू आई गेट टू नो कि मेरा इंटरेस्ट है या नहीं है? I will tell you, you are graduates of DU. Please download the syllabus of those subjects which you feel are doing good. Anyways, 12-13 subjects here which are doing good. Although there are many optionals Yet there are only 10 or 11 subjects which are doing good. You know what are they? Sociology, PSIR, law, economics, history, geography, public administration, philosophy, commerce and accountancy. These are the optionals which are doing good. Look at the syllabus. जो टेक्निकल हैं वो तो टेक्निकल वाले छोड़ देंगे, नॉन टेक्निकल वाले छोड़ देंगे. कॉमर्स एंड अकाउंटेंसी, unless and until you do not come from the background, you will not take it. Management, unless and until you do not come from the background, you will not take it. Economics, unless and until you don't come from the background, you will not dare taking it. Making sense? But then the other subject, you can look at the syllabus, look at last 2 to 3 year PYQs and see what kind of question UPSC is asking. When you read it, you will get an essence that this subject deals with these kind of things. Acha, there is a subject called anthropology which deals with human evolution. There is a subject called sociology which deals with the societal setting. मेरा interest societal setting पे ज़्यादा आ रहा है, तो probably sociology could be optional for you. But at the same time, मुझे IR भी अच्छा लग रहा है, तो PSIR could be an optional for me. Making sense? It's a pragmatic call. So the very first thing that you try to determine is your passion or interest. You may zero down 3 or 4 optionals for it according to your passion. Step number 2 is please try figuring out the availability of resources. You could be a great learner of Pali language or home sciences. Interest बहुत हो, but हो सकता है resources ना हो. So that option will not work out because revision is important. It is not only availability of resources, it is also minimal amount of books. Remember, UPSC works on a simple principle: minimum books, maximum revision. That's how you achieve UPSC. In none of the subjects, your book count should go above 2. Always 1, maximum 2. Making sense? So the second thing is resources. The third thing, because this is a subject which is not taught to you in your college days, you will need a coaching assistance. Now, if you're looking at a coaching assistance, more than which coaching should I join, your question should be which coaching is teaching this subject and how much of time. The gap between prelims and mains is 90 days, 3 months. If your option is not completed in 5 or 6 months maximum, you can't revise it 3 or 4 times. If your option is going for a year, then you're killing yourself. That is suicidal. So choose an optional except mathematics. Every option can be completed in 4 to 6 months time. Mathematics technically is going to take 10 months of time. Do not worry about it because mathematics has other advantages. It is an entirely static subject. If you can finish off last 10 year PYQs, it will take 10 or 11 months, but take my word, 80% of the question will be repetition. But then no one will take mathematics unless and until she comes from a mathematical background. Making sense? So the third one is coaching period. The fourth one is trend. You can very well analyze from the UPSC report, or you can speak to some coaching institutes or talk to your teachers who are inclined to UPSC or mentors at place to tell you from which optional selections are going greatly. At a point of time, public administration used to be the kings of optional. Public administration and geography combination was called as the golden combination. In the year 2009, of about 13,000 students writing mains, there were close to 8,000 students who were writing mains only with PubEd optional. It was so biased. So UPSC took a call to make the field level playing. As such, made the marking scheme or scaling not in favor of PubEd. So people started taking other optionals. If you ask me, in the last 3 years, anthropology, sociology, PSIR are doing great in this exam. Making sense? But then this trend will change every 3 to 4 years. So you keep in contact people who know UPSC. So point number 4 is always the trend. And point number 5 is the alignment with general studies. Most of the people do not get selected even after writing multiple mains exam is because they took a call on choosing the optional in the wrong orientation. They made point number 5 their point number 1. Point number 5 is alignment with GS. That is the last thing to be considered. But then students, they feel, let me take PSIR, mera GS2 ho jayega. Let me take PubEd, मेरा ethics paper 4 और paper 2 निकल जाएगा. Let me take geography, मेरा paper 1 हो जाएगा. Let me take economics, मेरा paper 3 निकल, nothing like that. Let me empirically tell you, people scoring horrible and pathetic marks in GS2 are PSIR students. Why? Because of overindulgence into the subject. They are unable to distinguish general studies from their technical optional. And take my words, the person who is evaluating your copy is an educated person. He knows very well the difference between the vocabulary of an optional and the vocabulary of GS. Sometime when you are getting a geography lesson from sir, ask him, sir, how do you look at the same topic from GS angle and from optional angle, and observe his vocabulary. It will change like this. He will start bombarding you writers, or what do you say, thinkers and thoughts and different kind of experiments which have taken place. Whereas in GS, he will just focus on the phenomena and the superficial understanding of it. Making sense? Now, if he's invited to check your geography copies, he will figure out whether you are writing general studies or whether you are writing your geography optional in GS paper 1. And if you write GS, he will penalize you. Making sense? So the way of choosing your optional, if you are not going to go for your subject which is being taught to you in your college days, then remember, it is IRCTC. All of you book tickets. So remember, it is interest, resources, coaching period, trend, and its alignment with GS or the concentric circles of GS. Making sense? Answered? Thank you. Any other question anyone has?
Good evening, sir.
Good
Sir,
afternoon.
is it really important or necessity to join the offline coaching? As sir, most of these students are involved in the colleges doing their assignments and their tests. So how should they pursue it?
So sir is telling me that the DU syllabus aligns with all subject of GS in UPSC. First thing is, beta, there is no difference between offline and online. If you can go for offline, go for offline. If you do not want to go for it, go for online. I will give you one example. You will get the answer. Last year, not this year. Last year there was a boy, rank 34. Tejas Shukla or Tejas something. I remember Tejas. Hindu college, mathematics optional. Okay? So this guy got the rank in the very first attempt. I know him because his sister is an IPS officer, same. Vajiram student only. So the moment he got the rank, we met him. Obviously he came. Then he said all of those things like, thank you, sir, your classes were, it was important, all those things. Then I was looking at it, DAF, and I looked at the address, and the address is West Patel Nagar, hardly another kilometer, 800 meters from Vajiram and Ravi. But generally, when I meet students in the class, I remember their face. I have this tendency to remember the faces. So I told Tejas, I don't remember your face. You are saying I have taught you, but I don't remember your face. Which batch you are in? Where you were in? So he tells me that, sir, I was an online student. I said, but then your house is hardly another kilometer away from Vajiram. Why did you take online classes? Then he told me, sir, I'm a very social person. I generally befriend people. And I know if I come over here, distractions will be high. So I took a conscious call to go for an online class, which means it is not online or offline which is important. It is the person kind of personality the aspirant has is important. Teacher is same, beta. Teaching is same. Coaching is same. The only thing is, who are you? Are you one who will go to old Rajendra Nagar and then enjoy? So generally when many of the students will come there with their parents will insist, especially girl students, their parents will insist that, sir, can we take a PG somewhere near Vajiram? It will be very, very easy for the students to come to Vajiram and then go. So time waste will be very, very less. So I generally tell them that your selection depends on geography, your knowledge of distance and displacement. So if you come from your flat to Vajiram in 5 minutes, it is great. But how much time do you take to go from Vajiram to your flat determines whether you will be selected or not. If coming to Vajiram is 5 minutes and going back is 2 hours, I told you, old Rajendra Nagar runs on chai. If it is 2 hours, you might not qualify this exam. It is all about the personality of a candidate which determines what kind of a class they should take. I will always suggest online class. That is because you save a lot of time. But then, if you're a person who will pause the video and will roam around, then better go for a physical class. You can't pause the teacher there. Okay? So don't fall for all of these things. You figure out what kind of a man you are. Done.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, I want to give UPSC exam with PSIR as my optional, as I am quite interested in political science and international relations. And sir, I also aspire to become the youngest IFS officer in Indian history. Sir, but sir, I pursued history honors instead of political science honors, as I thought it would be more helpful in GS papers. Sir, could you please guide me on whether I took the right decision, and how can I start my PSIR studies from now?
Let me just give you assurance. At least you have taken a humanities subject. I took electrical engineering. But there is nothing for what our background is. See, whatever is being taught to you in history will be of great help in paper 1, GS paper 1, which is the lengthiest of syllabus in our paper. So you can take care of it very well with your college curriculum itself. While you have interest in PSIR, you have to pursue it. I told you the 5 steps that you need to think of, and I believe your passion is very high for PSIR. So don't question the decision. It is entirely fine. Start working on PSIR. How? How we would start working on it? I gave you the idea. If you do not come from a background, then first thing is you have to figure out passion. You have figured out. Second is you have to look for resources. So get some basic books and start reading them. Third, you will need a coaching here. Now you have to take a call whether you want to get enrolled into the coaching this year, second year, or third year. I will suggest go for GS for your first year and second year. Focus on your option always in your third year. To understand the optional, you need to have a sense of maturity, and optional runs on the very idea of writing. GS can go with reading, but optional runs on the very idea of writing. Unless and until your hands are not very free, you will not be able to do justice with optional. First 1.5 year, focus on GS, and then you go for a PSIR class, and then you start exploiting the subject.
Okay, so everybody be seated for the test. So now I would like to invite Naman sir for vote of thanks.
गुड आफ्टरनून यू ऑल. मेरा नंबर तभी आता है जब आप लोग सोने लगते हैं, जनरली यही है. बट क्योंकि आप फर्स्ट ईयर और सेकंड ईयर से हैं तो मैं कुछ सुना देता हूँ आपको पहले. तो अहमद मुश्ताक साहब की 2 लाइनें हैं आप लोगों के लिए, है ना, क्योंकि हम तो उस जर्नी से आ चुके हैं. तो अहमद मुश्ताक साहब की लाइनें हैं कि नए दीवानों को देखें तो खुशी होती है, नए दीवानों को देखें तो खुशी होती है, हम भी ऐसे ही थे जब आए थे वीराने में. तो आई स्टैंड बिफोर यू टू डिलीवर फॉर्मल वोट ऑफ थैंक्स, एंड ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ उड़ान, द सिविल सर्विसेज सोसाइटी ऑफ द कॉलेज, आई थैंक Vajiram and their whole team for this insightful session. It was long due again for you people, for the new joinees. Needless to thank my elder brother Dr. Shashank Patel for coordinating this whole event, and the entire team of UDAAN society who are working tirelessly for managing such a event. हम लोगों का रोल पहले काफ़ी होता था, अब ये बच्चे काफ़ी लोग मैनेज कर लेते हैं अपने आप. आदि है, मेघना है, आई एम वेरी बैड विद नेम्स, सो क्रेडिट टू ऑल ऑफ यू. एंड ऑल ऑफ यू जो लोग अपने फ्यूचर के लिए सीरियस हैं, तो आप लोग यहाँ हैं. जितना जल्दी जाग जाओगे उतना कम मेहनत लगेगी. बचपन में एक ऑर्डिनरी लाइन पढ़ी थी मैंने, मुझे लगता है कि वो इस प्रिपरेशन के लिए काफ़ी इंपॉर्टेंट है. बड़ी ऑर्डिनरी से लाइन है, बट काफ़ी मेरे को लगता है कि काफ़ी इम्पोर्टेंट है इस जर्नी के लिए. लाइन थी कि डोंट बी सीरियस, बी सिंसियर. आप सीरियस हो जाएंगे, नहीं नहीं मेरे को पढ़ना है पढ़ना है पढ़ना है, नहीं, मेरे को डेली 3 घंटे, जैसे सर ने बताया, मेरे को 3 घंटे निकालने हैं, कैसे भी निकालने हैं, पर मेरे को निकालने हैं. तो मैं सिंसियर हूँ अपनी जर्नी के लिए. और अगर जैसे सर ने आपको मैथ समझाई इसकी, अगर आपने 3 साल लगभग 1800 और 2000 और आर्ट्स निकाल लिए, तो आपका 80% साइजेबल जो है वो हो जाएगी। तो कोशिश करिए कि सीरियस हो जाइए। सर मेरे को नाम बता रहे थे, अभी हम डिस्कस कर रहे थे कि ड्यू के टॉप 5 कॉलेजेस कौन से हैं जहां से सबसे ज़्यादा एस्पिरेंट्स निकलते हैं। तो आई वॉज वेरी सरप्राइज कि साउथ कैंपस का कोई भी कॉलेज नहीं है, एंड ये हमारी लिए, और भगत सिंह का नाम नहीं है उसमें। तो ये हमारे लिए बड़ी चिंता की बात है कि हम ऐसा नहीं है कि हमारे यहाँ से कॉलेज से बच्चे नहीं आ रहे हैं, पर जो साइजेबल नंबर है जो सर एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे थे कि यूपीएससी की लिस्ट में और जिन्होंने क्लियर किया होगा उसकी लिस्ट में होंगे, वो नहीं है। तो हमें ये सोचना है कि क्योंकि हम जब एग्ज़ाम क्लियर करेंगे, ना सिर्फ अपने लिए करेंगे, सोसाइटी के लिए भी करेंगे, माँ बाप के लिए भी करेंगे, जिस गांव परिवेश से हम आए उनके लिए भी करेंगे, कॉलेज के लिए भी करेंगे, हमारे लिए भी करेंगे। तो मैं आपसे उम्मीद रखूंगा कि आप जल्दी से सीरियस हो जाएंगे, और जो लोग सच में सीरियस हैं एग्ज़ाम के लिए, वो अपनी जर्नी जल्दी से स्टार्ट कर देंगे। एटलीस्ट 1-1, 2-2, 3-3 घंटा पढ़ना शुरू कर देंगे। संडे थोड़ा ज़्यादा टाइम दे देंगे, हॉलीडेज़ में ज़्यादा टाइम दे देंगे, है ना। सर ने हमें बताया ही है कि एश्योर किया है कि येलो बुक्स के 3-4 सेट हमारी लाइब्रेरी में आ जाएंगे, तो आप उसको रोटेशनल बेसिस पर यूज़ करके पढ़ सकते हैं, उनका फ़ायदा उठा सकते हैं। देन रिसाइटल का जो डिजिटल कॉपी है वो वाजीराम की वेबसाइट पर एनीवे अवेलेबल होती है, पर सर ने ये भी एश्योर किया है कि हार्ड कॉपी भी 3-4 वो हमारी लाइब्रेरी के लिए अवेलेबल करा देंगे, जिसके लिए आप लोग उसका मैक्सिमम बेनिफिट ले सकते हैं। और मैं आपको बता देता हूँ कि आपके कॉलेज में 170 फैकल्टीज़ हैं, लगभग 165 और 160 फैकल्टीज़ है। आई एम टेलिंग यू कि आपके पास वो सारी चीज़ें अवेलेबल हैं। आप इनिशियल फेज में, जब आप फर्स्ट ईयर में, सेकेंड ईयर में, आपको कोई भी डाउट आ रहा है, बी रिलेटेड टू योर सिलेबस, बी रिलेटेड टू योर एग्जाम पैटर्न, कि कोई टर्म समझ में नहीं आ रही, गो टू देम, आस्क देम, और वो हेल्प करेंगे आपकी, एज लॉन्ग एज यू गाइज आर सीरियस। आप बताइए कि मैं प्रिपरेशन कर रहा हूँ और मेरे को ये पार्ट नहीं समझ में आ रहा है, तो वो बता देंगे। बस आपको ये डिसाइड करना है कि आप कितना सीरियस हैं, और फायदा उठाइए ना। सर सही तो बता रहे थे कि स्पॉन्सर एजुकेशन का आप हिस्सा हैं, बहुत सारे लोग यहाँ नहीं हैं, आप लोग हैं, तो इसका फायदा उठाइए, है ना। तो विद दिस नोट, आई एम अगेन थैंकफुल टू यू, टू वाजीराम टीम, उड़ान कोर members for organizing this session. Let's start the test part. We have 2 tests, I guess. Single one. Okay. Okay, 30 MCQs and 2 and 3 descriptive type questions. डरिएगा मत, बहुत सारे बच्चे ऐसे होंगे जो टेस्ट देने से कोई आपको जज नहीं कर रहा है ना। और अभी आप अपने आप को टेस्ट करेंगे, तभी जाके पता लगेगा कि हम कहाँ हैं, है ना। गो फॉर इट प्लीज।
Students, please be seated and give the test and try to finish it on time. And as the sir has said, you don't have to worry about that's just to check your pattern analysis. You'll be getting a response also that how you have attended the question. That's all. Thank you.